Good morning and welcome to Comics and Coffee with Cliff. And we have Gary B, the casual comic guy.
Good morning.
It is a wonderful day. Let's get started. And where the hell are my videos? How does this thing even work anymore? I don't know.
Come on, you've been on StreamYard nonstop for a few days. You got this.
I know, but I haven't been the one in control in a few days. That's the problem. Okay, see you in like 10 seconds.
Oh, I like that little lounge singer opening.
I know, I do too. Unfortunately, it's from Canva and like 500 people use it, so it's not going to stay forever.
You got to reach out to E-Man and have him make you an intro.
E-Man make me an intro?
He made the ones for my channel.
Ooh, oh my goodness. You know, it'll be great.
Those aren't me. That's E-Man.
Yeah, I'll tell E-Man. I was like, I want his hair like cascading in the wind, like, and then it pulls back and then it reveals my logo. Like, that's what I want. That's how I want this. Well, good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. Just I'm off my normal Saturday routine. Usually, I'm out grocery shopping right now, getting ready for getting all sorts of food made for my kid. I made some extra yesterday. Told him I had a special show this morning, and then I got to go shopping again after. But normal Saturday.
I love how I've disrupted your workflow just for me. It's wonderful. It's so great. Let's see who we have in the chat. We got John's Comics with Kids.
Haven't seen him in a bit.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's been less than 24 hours. It's incredible. And, of course, Las Cruces. And it wouldn't be Las Cruces if...
It wouldn't be a live stream if it wasn't Las Cruces in.
Yeah. I'll just say Las Cruces is only 32 hours away by car. It's a short trip.
Nice. And your trunk's big enough to fit him in it?
I don't even know what James looks like. Stop it. And you be careful, sir, because I know I can fit 3 of you in my trunk. Look, I'm in my own chat. Joe from Anachronic Comics is here. Good morning.
The other guy I've been nonstop streaming with lately has been Anachronic Comics. We were on, I think, 3 or 4 streams together last week.
Good morning. Phil from Phil's Treehouse. Hey, buddy. And that's it. It's a light morning.
No, you missed DJ Links.
Did I miss DJ Links?
Yep, and you missed Fantastic Comics and Art.
Wait, literally, it just showed up on my
screen. Learn
screen.
how to run your chat.
Good morning, Philtastic. And where the hell is DJ Links? It's still not here.
I see him.
Oh my God, this is terrible. I'm StreamYard. You're gonna get a Karen-sized email from me. Good morning, DJ Links. Good morning. I miss so many people at Heroes Con. I'm going. That's it. I don't care. Make it or break it. I'm going next year. What about you, sir?
I wish. There's no way I can afford it.
You work 5 million hours. You could split an Airbnb or a room with me. I know you want to split a room with me just to see if you make it through the night.
I can't. The extra money I have has got to go to my kid.
What are we trying to do? Are you sending him to NASA for
No, it's just I am a single dad and living's expensive.
It is expensive. Get him a part-time job. He is 14. It's time for working papers, baby. Save that money for your job. Bring him along. Strap him on the back.
Nah, he's doing good in school, and that's where I want his focus to be.
That's lovely that he's doing good in school. I believe that this is summertime and that it is time to get a part-time job. I started my first job when I was 13 years old. You know?
15.
It was fantastic. 15. Look at that. I was 13 years old. I had to go to a physical at a freaking elementary school 7 blocks from my house and get it completed and then have my mom sign a piece of paper so that I could get to work. And I got my first job working in the local library. And I was a page. And I did that shit. And I still managed to pass school. Except I sucked at math, but I don't think anything was going to help me with that. My point is, get that boy a part-time job and start saving for freaking Heroes Con. He can work weekends. It's okay. You got to do what you got to do. You know? My mother carried my whole family on her back for I don't know how long. You can do this. I believe in you.
I took him to Steel City Con for a day, and that was that we made a trip out of that, which was fun.
That's delightful. Come to North Carolina, damn it. Make a road trip with your son. Bag up all the little goodies. You know? Do you know that's what we used to do when we went to Canada when I was a kid? And we didn't have shit. We didn't know anything, okay? Back then, you either had a big fold-out map or you had the map books where you.
Yep, I used the atlas whenever I did long travel, and I mapped it and I drew it all and I mapped it all out and traced it beforehand.
Right. So of course, my family was like not like smart like that, right? My grandfather was. So my grandfather would be the one. So we used to drive this. We would go out. We would go out west for like an hour, and then up to hit Canada, and it made the trip unbearable. I was a teenager when MapQuest came out, and we learned how to cut 2 hours off of our trip, okay? But when I was little and we didn't know what we were doing, and we're driving these big extravagant drives, right? And shout out to cousin Laura, because it's her and her husband Paul that helped us figure out MapQuest and how to make the trip shorter. But when we used to have the really long trip, my mom used to bag up like all the stuff, throw it in a big cooler, shove that in the trunk, and then we would pull over on the side of the road for our little breaks and everything, and have our little lunch and stuff. And it was really great. And you know what's funny is my parents just did such a good job of like helping us believe we weren't poor back then. It was so nice. We just had our little sandwiches and stuff.
Now I used to pack stuff up too, but I mean, and back when I was a teenager, my friends and I would go to Canada all the time. It was just because in Canada, legal drinking age was 18. So we would go to Canada. Never had a bad time in Canada in my life. Always had the best time. Sometimes we'd all pitch in and rent a limo to go to a concert. So none of us would have to worry about being the designated driver. Ooh. The limo driver would just park outside the concert. We'd be in there, come back out, right back in the limo with everything we needed in the limo, and right back home.
See? Look at that. Relive those glory days, except without the limo, without the prostitutes, and take your son to Heroes Con.
Oh, goodness.
I
can't drive that far anymore.
Yes, you can. You are not 60 yet. I believe in you. You do your hellacious job. You can drive with your kid. You're going to be fine. I believe in you. You know?
Dude, I drove to Pittsburgh and back, and like half my right side was like, yeah, we're done with this. Like my ass cramped. My leg was cramped.
Yes, it happens. I understand. I'm not getting any younger myself. And have you ever had a face cramp? Because that was my gift when I turned 31 years old. Getting a freaking face cramp, feeling like Freddy Krueger was up on my face. So listen.
Never had a face cramp.
Exactly. Most people. You know what's sad is that I'm having a face cramp at work. I'm crying and I'm thinking that I'm having a stroke. And one of my supervisors, Pete, one supervisor walked over and was like, Cliff, it's okay. You're having a face cramp. And I was like, do we not tell people about this because we want the human race to survive? It was horrible. Horrible.
Nah, see, that's a compensation I get. I'm ugly, so I don't get face cramps.
Look at this man. Look at this man who is older than you right here. If I can drive to Florida, you can drive to North Carolina. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I don't care if I'm peer pressuring you. I mean, I don't want to be a bully, but today I am, Gary B. I'm going to bully you.
I'm immune to bullying, so it doesn't matter.
Then I'm going to peer pressure you. Peer pressuring, bullying, whatever it's going to take. I want you at Heroes Con. I'm going to wear you and DJ Lynx like a double backpack. It's going to be super cute.
Well, you didn't tell me I got to share space with DJ Lynx, so I mean, might make it worth it.
See, there you go. There you go. You'll see DJ Lynx. You'll see Mark. You'll see all sorts of people. Well, let's get everyone out there. Let's get everyone to that motherfucker next year. I'm working 2.5 jobs. Actually, by the way, I'm working 2.5 jobs. So like I can't even take this shit anymore. So anybody who's got excuses free, I'm like, next year there are no excuses. I am working 2.5 jobs. Everybody should. Let's go. Put your kids to work. I know you love them. Make them love some money too.
You know, I took yesterday, I'm like, all right, it's summer, it's hot. I got to get rid of all the hair. And I shaved all the beard, trimmed up the goatee, shaved the head. I was like, all right, I feel better. I don't feel like I'm sweating constantly. And then I took that picture and I posted it on Instagram, and I looked at it, I'm like, look at the bags under those eyes. I look like I haven't slept in years.
You are so, we tend to be so hard on ourselves. Don't you think so?
I guess we can be, but man, I was like, I need something for like under the eyes. Those things are like caves.
Yeah, you poor guy. Also, if you've got a good dermatologist near you, they usually do cosmetic stuff. So you could be like, yo, do something about my eyes.
Again, that would cost a lot of money.
Do you not have health insurance?
Really, not great health insurance, but something you don't know is I'm diabetic, and my diabetes medicine costs me $200 a month.
What? Get no insurance. Upgrade your.
I do have insurance. It's just
the crappiest insurance known to man.
It's not great. It's not great insurance.
My insurance is not great. And you want to know how messed up it is at my job? We break it up into 3 tiers. So I pay for the most expensive tier out of pocket, which is miserable, right? So that they don't F around with me when I'm out and about. And everyone around me I know is like, oh, Cliff, why are you paying for the most expensive tier? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I go to the doctor once every 2 freaking months. I'm diabetic, hypertension, I got a laundry list. I was like, I need the gold tier. I was like, I don't know what your ass is. And then all these people don't know anything about their health. And suddenly, when they appear in a health crisis, it's like, well, how come you didn't know? Well, I only go to the doctor once a year. That's all I can afford. And then I'm like, this is the travesty of life, isn't it? Don't even get me started. I want to restart the world.
Right, because I have to go every 3 months. That people don't understand that if you have something like diabetes, you have to go every 3 months. You have to get your blood work done every 3 months. You're like, oh my gosh, you need all. I'm like, I'm the type of every time I go to get my blood drawn, they're like, which arm? I'm like, what? I don't care. You're taking the blood. Just pick what arm you want. And they take the blood out. I always have to watch. I have to watch the blood squirt out into the little tube.
Oh my God. You are the reverse of me. I hate it. I am particular which arm they use. I cannot watch. I must look away. I have to be fully hydrated before I arrive, or else my nerves get the best of me and I suddenly start having rolling veins. It is a whole thing for me, sir. A whole thing.
Oh, no, I'm just like, whatever, just get it done. And just
get it done. My God. Well, you know what? I'm going to save that just whatever, get it done attitude for you getting your ass to Heroes Con. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to check in on you every single month. Every time you give me homework, I'm going to be, and are you getting ready for Heroes Con? Are you preparing your son? Do it. I love you so much. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, next topic. Where are we going? Enough about Gary being old.
What are you? Oh my God, you're young. You're still young. You're not 65 yet.
No, I'll be 54 in a couple weeks.
My sister's older than you, and she's doing great. All right, you're gonna do wonderful, kiddo. Wonderful, I tell you. Ooh, a Nightwing cover that's not about Nightwing's ass. Good to know. Good to know. I'm sorry, I'm looking at too many things. This is what happens when you just decide to have more than one screen. It all goes down in a handbasket.
Right.
It all goes down.
Well, as a man, it's easily to get distracted anyway. Men are easily distracted creatures.
That's an excuse. And also maybe I'm just immune to it because I have to, look at men all day.
No, like if I have the screen
just
here,
ignore it.
and I got another screen with ass and titties over here, I'm going to get distracted too.
Well, I don't have a side stream of ass and titties. On my side stream is comic book covers. Oh my God. Thank you, Michael. We can legit start a small fundraiser for less fortunate people in our community to get them to Heroes Con. Absolutely. Put me on that damn list, baby. Put me on that list, all right? Because I am out there door dashing like a freaking peasant and up against younger people. It is a nightmare. Put me on that freaking list. I need all the help I can get. I was going to say, normally I'm not the first person to be like, let's do a GoFundMe. But after all those Heroes Con videos making me feel left out, I was like, we're doing it.
And I splurged this weekend. I bought myself the Heroes Con art book from the DJ Links site. DJ Links at Big Cartel. You guys should go buy that book before it's sold out. All the artwork of the community.
Let me put that in the chat right now. Here's the art book. I'm going to put the link right to the art book.
DJ Links, BigCartel.com. Like all these great people in our community that draw and do great things.
I know, for them to come together, and I was gonna say, and we even have a couple published artists inside there, which I think is wonderful. Let's see. God, there's so much stuff from Heroes Con, I can't even. I open a side tab and it's just like more Heroes Con. My last week, Epic Heroes Con for members only. Saturday morning presents more Heroes Con. Heroes Con 2024 major grails acquired. Heroes Con tonight at 7 p.m. My experience in the Omega level grade acquired. Like, that is it. That's like my whole.
Right, there's like 700 watch hours of Heroes Con stuff on.
Dude, I think I've already done 400 hours of watch hours of Heroes Con. There's probably like a new 700. Heroes Con walkthrough, the best Comic Con in the world. Let's find out tonight at 3:30 at 3 p.m. your time. I can't.
And I got a few people coming up in a couple weeks for the Empire Comic Fest here.
Empire Comic Fest.
Yeah, there's a little like Friday, Saturday, Sunday comic festival here in Rochester, July 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Bitch, you're in New York and we're having this conversation? You are in New York?
Yeah, Rochester, New York. Everybody knows that.
Did we have this conversation? Did we talk about this before?
Yes. You actually said you might come up at some point and whatever.
At some point, so I can slap your ass around and be like, "We're going to fucking Heroes Con." If my ass is going, you're going. You can ride your ass down from Rochester to me, and then we can hoof it the rest of the way. Maybe we'll ride with Will. It'll be great. You know, you'll have your son.
Cup of Comics, Will?
Huh?
Cup of Comics, Will?
Yeah.
Will's awesome.
He is awesome. You'll have your son's company. I'll have Will's arms. It'll be a wonderful time. Tell me that doesn't sound like a magical road trip. We'll split an Airbnb. We'll get kicked out of bars just like everybody else. It's gonna be great.
There's Phil saying, visit Gary and get a garbage plate. That's a Rochester thing.
What's the garbage plate?
All right, so I had to learn this when I moved to Rochester. Because where I come from, we had something called Michigan's, which is a hot dog on a New England roll. The New England roll is cut on both sides, so the bread's raw, and you toast both sides. You put a hot dog in, you put meat sauce over the hot dog, and you can either get it plain, which is no onions. You can get it buried, which is chopped onions under the hot dog, or you can get it topped, which is the chopped onions on top of the meat sauce. That's in Michigan. So I moved down to Rochester, and I learned they had their own thing. It's called the garbage plate. Now, what a garbage plate is obviously starts with a plate. You get half the plate filled with homemade mac salad, half the plate with French fries. Some place do home fries. Then you put either 2 burger patties on it or 2 hot dogs on top of it. But the hot dogs are cut and split wide open. They're meat lips. So they get set on there like that after they're grilled, and then it's covered with meat sauce.
All right. So apparently the original place to get this would be Hots. It's called?
No, here in Rochester, it was called Nick Tahoe's.
Yeah, no, it's Nick Tahoe's Hots. That's the name of it.
Yeah. Well, most places around here end with Hots that serve them.
Well, apparently it's his fault because according to the history, that is literally on the Visit Rochester, New York freaking website. That's right. This is part of Rochester tourism, right? Rochester tourism actually has the guide to the Rochester garbage plate.
I mean, they're delicious, but you're looking at like freaking 1,500 calories and a nap after.
Well, that's why you have a friend like me, and we go for a walk and go find a local comic book store. It's gonna be good. You know, don't you want to have a big old garbage plate and then let's go comic shopping?
I don't think I would be able to go do anything after a garbage plate. One, because I'm diabetic and my sugar would go to about 1,000. And then I just need to sleep somewhere.
Oh my God. Like, I'm diabetic too. Should I bring you some of my drugs? We'll share some and we'll have a good time. You know what? How about we just split the garbage plate? That way it only does half the damage to you. And then we go for a comic book run.
Oh, Rochester's a comic book town. You would actually love it.
I know, I've been there before. It's just been a long time.
Ah.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I could look up some old D while I'm there. That'd be nice. You know.
There you go.
But then again, you know, the problem with that is that it usually comes with other problems. Like, oh, damn, you got married. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Every relationship comes with some problems, Cliff.
These are hookups, not relationships. It's different.
It's relationships of a sort. It's still everything has its problems.
You're right. You're right. Sometimes they're complicated. Yeah. Every time I have this conversation with people, all I can think is I miss beer can Eddie. Oh my God. So who is your LTS up in Rochester?
Mine is Rhino's Comics. I've tried a couple here, and that's the only one that I stayed with and that I like. The other ones all had like the comic book owners that would just make you lose interest in the shop because they were all half assholes all the time.
And they themselves don't seem to have any passion for the industry.
They don't have any respect for the people that are shopping in their shop.
Oh, I hate that. Do you know? And I love this.
And Rhino's is different.
Well, how is Rhino's different?
Well, so a way that I gauged where I was shopping, right, is I go in with my kid. If you treat my kid like he's going to break everything in your shop, that he's going to ruin whatever he touches, or that he's going to try to steal something, you've already lost my money. So the first time I take him in Rhino's, and I had been out of comics for years, and I wasn't going in there for myself. I was going in there for my kid, something different for him, right? Because my kid and I used to go out, and I would take him to Toys R Us, and we would just, as father and son, have father-son dude time. Take him out to there. We look at the clearance toys, look at the new release toys, look at the licensed toys. Obviously, he always leaves with something, right? You're not taking your kid to a toy shop and not bringing something home with him. So we'd have fun, and my kid, he's very analytical. When he's looking at stuff, he's trying to figure what he's going to get the best playtime with, what he's going to enjoy the most, and and so he's always weighing pros and cons and stuff, and but he's having fun, and and I used to love the little excited look he'd get on his face when I'd take him down a toy aisle and there was like a new set and all these new toys were in it. It would be great. But I wanted to take him someplace else, and I saw this little place called Rhino's Comics. It was just a little startup one. So we went in there. The first thing in there, oh, hey, here's your kid. Look, we have a kid section over here. If there's anything he wants to look at, let him look at it. We have all these books here. Never, ever said a word about my kid touching anything. So make a few purchases for my kid. I picked up a book for myself, get up to the counter, and he gives my kid a toy and says, here, have fun with it. Thank you for checking out the shop today. This is from the owner. So, and then, less than a year later, Conan's back at Marvel. I'm getting back into comics because Conan's coming back to Marvel. And just been there ever since. They grew out of that location, moved to another one. So I'm like, look, I'll help you move. I got that weekend off. Me helping them move turned into me helping them out at the comic shop a couple times a week. It pays for my book, so I don't have to. So I trade my time for my pull list. So that's how I'm able to afford the hobby. So, because I always get lots of comments. Oh, look at all the books Gary got this week. I'm like, guys, I work for him. I trade my time for my book. And he's always treated. And anyone that goes in with a kid, he treats the kids with respect. He understands as a shop owner and as a family man that those kids that he's saying hello to now and being nice to now are his future customers. And he knows how to treat families, which a lot of comic shops don't. You go in, and even if you're by yourself, they treat you like you don't know what you're doing. If you look at a book, they're instantly on you like you're gonna like shove it in a backpack or something, which I can't stand. There's no quicker way for you to lose my money than to come up to me like I need your help every 3 seconds.
Yeah.
If I need. The first time, I understand. You're greeting a customer. You're seeing if they need anything. When I tell you I'm good, you leave me the fuck alone. And if I need you, I'll come get you.
Well, you want to make sure that, right, you don't want to overdo it, but you want to make sure you have the initial greeting. And when you start seeing them sneak through the door without making eye contact, did you find anything? Did you have something you were looking for? Did you want them to get it? Because they're like, bitch, do you really want to leave without buying anything from me?
He does it, but he goes, hey, thanks for stopping in and looking at the shop today. Come back. We're always getting new stuff in.
You know what I'm saying? He does it direct, but I'm just saying, like, I don't like people just like wandering out. I was like, hey, did you like anything? Like, you know, you want to come back, please and thank you. But it's so great because like I have two people who've come to the store recently. It's not my store. It is my best friend's store. I hang out there. We do council videos there.
Right.
None of us work there. None of us are getting paid to promote it. And I have to tell people this continuously because someone actually called the store and complained about my service. I'm like, I don't fucking work there. I'm just polite.
Right. That's what you get.
Because I couldn't find them the missing issue of Shazam they were looking for. I'm like, I was just trying to be helpful. I do not work there. I'm a nice person. Jeez, man, yeah, we straightened it out and it was a good laugh. But I was like, holy shit.
You know what I have, right, Phil? I'm sorry, reading Phil Tastic's comment. He's going to bring his kid. He can't wait to bring his kid to the comic shop.
The number one name that I get confused.
It is, and I happen to be reading his comment and say, "Oh, him and John's comment was good too about the daughter." But what I get is apparently I have that face that no matter where I'm shopping, I apparently look like I work there, and I will always have people, "Sir, can you?" I'm like, "I don't work here."
What are you wearing? What are you wearing at the time?
Well, you know, usually it's if I have a red shirt on, right? A lot of places have red shirts. Like I've learned, you do not wear a red shirt in Target.
Not wear red shirts. Target and Walmart have screwed people's braids. If you're wearing navy blue or you're wearing red, people think you work there because that's how Target and Walmart have their programs. You know,
if I would go to Target, I go out of my way to not wear a red shirt now.
Right.
I know I'll get stopped.
You want to know what's really awful? This used to happen to me when I was actually working at Walmart. This was the second time that I had major depression, right? And I was just doing something to leave the house. So like, I could not do shopping after hours because people were bothering me. And I don't know about currently. I do not know about currently, but we're going back to 2010, 2011. Right? Or we're going back to 2011. Back then, Walmart policy is if a customer approaches you, we don't care that you're off the clock. You still represent this company. So it was real fucking annoying that I was working off the clock when I'm trying to do my own damn shopping.
Right.
You know? So I got sick of it and I started bringing a bag to work. And I decided that, by the way, back then Walmart enforced that you wear the khaki pants and the navy top and that you buy it yourself, right? That has changed. That has definitely changed. So I would take off the khakis and the navy, shove it in the bag, change in the bathroom, put on jeans, and specifically, I had a gray sweatshirt and a green sweatshirt that I would use. And let me tell you, I was shopping fucking invisible. 6'3" and invisible. People I work side by side with every day calling me sir, not recognizing my face. It was great. I was just shuffling through the aisles, shaking my ass, just shopping away, and I loved it. Loved it. And my friend of mine, a coworker, she got in trouble. And at Christmas time, because she got in trouble shopping with her dad on her day off, and I thought that was ridiculous.
It is.
I got her a bag, and in it, I had a change of clothes for her because I drove her home one night, and she told me that all of her clothes are navy and tan because that's all she could afford is the clothes for work. So the day she got in trouble with her dad, she was wearing navy and tan, and I was furious. So I got her 3 different sets of sweatpants and sweatwear and t-shirts. And she's like, for me, I was like, yes, please wear this shit when you go shopping with your father. I never want you to go through that again. And not only did she thank me, cry, all of that, which was very nice, but it has never happened to her again. And I'm
right, and it's amazing like how like people they don't look. They just anyone that's red or blue, they're gonna ask you a question.
They don't. It's ridiculous. So that's my tip. That's my tip, everybody out there. You don't want to be caught as one of those people who look like you work there, you know? Green and gray, you know?
Right. Well, it's weird because people will approach you even when you're with your kid. I'm like, do I look like I work here? I'm with my kid. I'm shopping.
They don't look down. They don't even notice. They're like, hey, look at that guy in the red shirt. You know, they don't even see the kid. No.
See, I got a few things that bug me, right? If I'm out with my kid, don't bother me. If I'm in my car, don't come up to my car. I hate people coming up to my car.
Oh, that's so horrible.
And so what I do, I work in logistics. So we check in a lot of trucks. I secure them. There's a staff I run. But I'm always chronically early to work, and I will park way in the back in the parking lot. Some truck driver will see and pull up to my car, and before he's even there, I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you approaching my vehicle? Well, I'm like, there's a door right there. Go ring the bell, go call the number. It's on the door. Don't approach my car. Dude, that will set me off. I hate people approaching my vehicle.
Well, you're in New York, so it doesn't matter how
you have no idea. You have no idea. I had no
idea. I'm even closer to the city. You think it's weird up there. Over here, it's crazy, especially on the weekend.
I had some weird drunk guy I don't know. I'd say drunk. He was just acting weird. He had his kid with him. Approached me in a gas station parking lot, thinking I did something to him. I've never seen this dude in my life. So I said, all right, you're a tough guy. Your kid's there. You want to fight? Go ahead and take your first swing. I'm ready. Completely threw him off because everyone instantly thinks that whoever they approach is going to back off, and I'm the opposite. Once you approach me, we're good. I'm face to face with you or eye to eye. Let's go. Just because I don't like being approached. I don't know if it's a New York thing.
I mean, I don't know, but and I understand, but I'm usually cool even if I'm not like whatever, but also I do know that I take for granted that I'm 6'3", so it's not too easy to intimidate me, you know?
I'm not intimidated. I just don't like it.
No, I know, but like I'm trying to say that not about intimidation or frustration. It's more about keeping my cool and just knowing that I'm 6'3" helps. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I think I'm the grumpy old man now that just doesn't want to be bothered.
You are too young for this grumpy old man. Look at this young ass old man down here. You know? Do you know he can still drive at night? My God. I'm like, his wife. I was like, his wife knows that Joe is a gem.
So when I met Joe, right? So I've met Matt Woods and Joe. I've met Matt Woods a couple times. I met Joe once last year, right? Joe was great. So I know where him and Matt. I know what hotel they're at. So I go there to meet them. I get out of the car, and Joe had his Joe must have been looking like a hawk. Bursts out of the door. This bundle of energy, arms out. Gary, fantastic.
That is so great, so great.
And Joe is a ball of energy.
Clearly, I mean, I was like, I wish I had his energy. I'm like, damn. He's out there driving around, helping seniors in his senior community in Florida. I'm like, shit. I want that energy. I was like, I can't even clean this comic book room. I'm like, I'm old. I'm like, I need all sorts of energy. Oh my goodness. My goodness. All right, we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna begin our game of Rate It or Hate It this week.
Oh, all right, let's go.
So in this week's Rate It or Hate It, we begin in the top 10.
Oh, Venom, hate it.
You already hate it?
It's Venom, I hate it. Fuck those symbiotes.
Okay, but all right, so 3 years ago, after the creation of Null, a ton of new symbiote lore was born. Eddie Brock's son Dylan, Donny Cates told the media story outlet, blah, 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 blah. But this 1 in 10 Venom 9 variant from 2018 brought some buzz to this issue, jumping up the value to $255. Anyhow, but you said hate it, so we're going to pass on that. And honestly, I don't even now at a 9.8 at 243, I think it's a little too high for a cover that doesn't mean anything.
Right, it's ridiculous. Complete bullshit just because of Venom.
Yes. Now,
Garbage.
Maybe you'll be a little more generous with number 9.
It's what? It's what or hate it?
It's Rate It or Hate It.
I'll rate it. Let's give that one. I mean, it's Usagi. We're gonna give that one a 9 out of 10 because that's a great cover.
Yes.
It's absolutely beautifully done. I love the different shades and tones. I've never seen this cover. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. Again, I agree with you. It's brilliant. It's a great series, and it's terribly affordable right now. So if you love Usagi Yojimbo, this is a snatch. All right, next up the next one I really like. All right, let's see. It's Dark Reign Young Avengers #1, introducing the Dark Masters of Evil. I'm sorry, the Young Masters of Evil. How dare I?
Lukewarm. We'll give it, out of a scale of 1 to 10, we'll give it a 5.
Okay, I can see that. I mean, I'm gonna give it like a 6 just because I have a little.
I don't hate it, but it doesn't excite me in any way either.
Right. It definitely excited me. I love the idea of Young Masters of Evil showing up. Freaking, Young Enchantress being on the book. And Mark Brooks doing artwork. I mean, there's a lot of it's a good story.
Mark Brooks is an incredible artist.
Yeah, he is wonderful. But also this book has plummeted in value. So if you want to collect a 5-issue miniseries with great artwork and a solid story that's just fun and takes place during the Dark Reign era, I recommend. And this is from 2009. And then of course
Bishop.
Yeah. What else did we get out of this book? Sylvie. Sylvie actually appears here. It's Sylvie who is Sylvie is the enchantress of this group, and of course Sylvie we know comes out of Loki season 2 later on as an alternate Loki. All right, moving on to #7 on the cover price 3-year ago list. Rated or hated for Hawkeye #1, 2016.
10 out of 10. Kate Bishop is a fantastic character.
Yes.
Fully on board with Kate Bishop. And I like these kind of covers. I mean, I'm a sucker for like the solid yellow background. And then when you have like someone in the sights, it reminds you of like ASM 129 a little bit. And just there's something about heroes with a bow and arrow, which is just still a lot of fun. It's just, I think that's the old guy in me likes to see the bow and arrow, but love it.
I do too. I really like Kelly Thompson's work on this book. I really like Kate Bishop, and the Raw didn't take as big as a hit as the Graded, right? You can snatch this up for around 15, probably less. Let's be honest. And the Graded coming down to $38 is abysmal. But yeah, I mean, I will give this a 7 out of 10.
And Kelly Thompson is one of my favorite writers. She, when she gets a character, she takes the time to understand the character and writes things that advance the character. And the character is still in character, where a lot of writers these days tackle a project and have no idea the history of the character, and you can tell every single word they write and put in that character's mouth.
Absolutely. I think she does a great job, really.
Her Black Widow run was great. Her last Captain Marvel run was incredible.
Yeah, Kelly Thompson really knows how to.
Yeah,
she sells her. That's my point. She sells the story. You're invested.
Yeah, like literally, if I see the art's just okay, but I see Kelly Thompson's writing it, I think she's a good enough writer. I will pick it up just because she's writing it.
See, I appreciate that. It's very rare that a writer's good enough for me to even not think about the art, but once in a while. All right, moving on to #6. We've got Nice House on the left, #1. This book came out in 2021, launching a revival of DC's Black Label. Rated or hated?
I got this when it first came out, and I sold it right away. I'm not a guy that's always on the hype train with all this new stuff. Was it good? Yes. Was it next level? I didn't think so. I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
And I'm going to absolutely agree with you. 6 out of 10. I thought it was nice, and now it's sitting in a box somewhere, and I'll probably sell it or give it away.
Right, but I wasn't like the rest of the community, like, oh my gosh, have you read this? It's so good. I'm like, eh.
Well, people like horror, people like thrillers, and
I love horror.
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, for people who like horrors and thrillers, I felt like this was this was, new and refreshing in coming from DC for them, right?
And I feel the same way about Something's Killing the Children. I'm like, oh, I got excited to read it because everybody was talking about it. I bought the first 2 trades. I'm like, all right, it's Buffy revisited.
You already know how I feel about Something is Killing the Children. I'm like, aren't all those kids dead yet? Because I don't know. I don't feel like they're losing people and stuff. I don't even know.
I'm like, that is like, yeah, that series is so overrated to me.
Good morning, see this all.
Marcus, if you're watching, don't listen to that part.
I would have liked Something is Killing the Children as a mini series or a maxi series. I think it would have been better. But people still enjoy it, so God bless them.
Well, and what I think too is what that signifies too is Something's Killing the Children is a problem we're seeing in a lot of comics now, right? Everything's got to be a universe. You can't just have a one and done story and enjoy something for what it is. All of a sudden, you got to create a whole universe around it.
Well,
people are watering stuff down. Now, there's places where it works, right? Like G.I. Joe and Transformers. There's places where building a universe doesn't belong.
I don't mind that it's 2 books. Like House of Slaughter, I feel is complimentary, but it's also not for me. And also because it's independent and it's James Tynion, and Tynion is is it Tynion? Yeah, it's Tynion, right? Tynion's working on so many things. And he is not somebody who feels like he needs an interconnected web, right? Like he just does his shit and he's just happy to do it. I love his Christopher Chaos series, for instance, Good morning, Rising Rhino. And good morning, Seabizzle, in case I didn't say it. And good morning, Joe. And I don't know who everyone is. Maybe we use that word too casually. But yeah.
And hello, Bobby De La Ghetto.
Oh shit, did I miss Bobby De La Ghetto?
You did, but I was trying to just mention him casually, not call you out.
There you go. What's cooking? We're playing Rate It or Hate It. All right, next up, 3 years ago, Marvel Comics officially introduced Harley Keener, the boy from Iron Man 3, into the Marvel Universe with Web of Spider-Man #1.
I have that series, never read it. Him being introduced into the Marvel Universe, I don't care at all. So this is let's call this a 3 out of 10. Really don't care.
Yeah. I'm going to go 5 out of 10 because we don't know what they're going to do with him in the movies, but they made a point of making sure that he is present at Tony's funeral. Yeah. So, I'll give it a 5 just to be fair, and again, Marvel MCU seems to be so off track. Who knows? This might be a good pick. Although Seabizzle said hated it, so wow.
Yeah, I think I have them all, but I think I won them and it got sent to me.
Oof. All right, next up, though he's only been around since 2020, Dylan Brock, the heir to the Venom symbiote, has lived a tough life, battling Null, being hunted by Carnage, joining with the symbiote, fighting crime. Dylan has gone through it all. And that brings us to the original Venom #9. Hate
it. Fuck those symbiotes. # fuck those symbiotes.
For somebody who wrote a book called Need about a symbiote.
my symbiote's awesome.
I'm just saying, your symbiote and the Venom symbiote and
nothing alike.
One nothing alike. They're very much alike, except one is like let's kill stuff, and the other one's like let's fuck everything and take control. I don't know if there's a big line between the two.
I do not like the Marvel symbiotes at all. I think it's one of those concepts that's overused. It's like Oprah Winfrey in there. Everybody gets a symbiote. It's stupid. Black Widow's got a symbiote. All these other people have symbiotes now. It's just enough. The only
let me tell you though, Black Widow's cool as fuck with her symbiote.
Black Widow's cool anyway. She doesn't need a symbiote to be cool.
No, I know, but I'm just saying if they're doing a nice job with it. It could have just been crap in one note, but they're having fun. The
only symbiote story I want to see at Marvel is this new threat from the universe shows up on Earth and cleanses the Earth of symbiotes.
You can dream. You can dream, baby. All right. Up next, Thor Angle number 18 got hot after the internet. Super Sleuths picked out the first cameo appearance of female Loki. Rate it or hate it?
We'll give this a 7 out of 10. It's exciting, but at the same time, I don't think it's next level.
Right. And again, really affordable. Look at that $3 Raw, and it's a great, fun Thor story. So yeah,
Yep.
I'm gonna go with 7. I own a copy of this. I like it. I'm gonna stick with it. You know, I'm not gonna call it an investment opportunity, but you know, hey, go snatch this up. All right, next up is a title that you know, but I love. It's Tom Taylor's Nightwing. His run is still regarded as one of the best Nightwing runs, showcasing the complicated life of Dick Grayson. In 2021, Nightwing's newest villain, Heartless, was at the center of fandom, making his first full appearance in issue number 81. Rate it or hate it?
So, you know, I'm not a big DC guy. There's only a couple titles I read. I know Nightwing is very popular. I like the character of Dick Grayson. He'll always be the best Robin. And I like that he developed into Nightwing. So not knowing anything about it, except Dick Grayson's a great character and one of the staples at DC. It's an effective cover. The red draws you in. And you see Dick Grayson in the hand, I think is a cool symbolism. So I'll give this one, without knowing anything about the book, I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10.
Very good. Very good. I'm going to agree because I actually enjoyed the series. So, yeah, 8 out of 10 feels right for me. All right. Next up, Riding High from his Netflix series and the first appearance of Yukichi Yamamoto, Yasagi Yojimbo number 20.
And I don't like it as the first Usagi cover you showed me, but we're going to give this one a 7 out of 10. It's its own thing. It's its own universe. Usagi has a fantastic creator, and it is clearly its own thing, which I can respect, and so 7 out of 10 for it.
Now, of course, Cover Price is saying this one's a bust because we don't know if we're ever going to see more of Yukichi, but I feel like
if it's a good story, is it a bust, though? They're only talking monetary-wise. They're not talking...
No, because Yukichi's story has not been continued as of yet. So, you know, if like they made this introduction, it's really interesting. He's trying to carry out vengeance for his master, and then we haven't seen him or followed him or seen his story progress at all in 3 years. So that's why they're kind of calling it a bust.
Gotcha.
You know, but that said, that doesn't mean this is the last we see of Yukichi. And still, Usagi's a great book, so you know, $6 fine, pretty nice. So I'm gonna give it a 7. Maybe I'm too generous, but that's what I'm doing.
No, I don't know. We've agreed on a couple of these.
All right. Well, so our final thoughts are, as usual, you don't have to listen to us, but you should go and buy comics that you enjoy. And that was Rate It or Hate It. Ooh, Joe gave it a 5 as well. And C-Bizzle's never read any Usagi Yojimbo. All right, sir. I gave you one task of homework. What items did you bring, and what is the theme?
Well, I brought 7 items instead of 5 because I'm me and I'm doing it my way. And
like Frank Sinatra.
They all they have a theme of they're all Conan. Okay, I was gonna go with a couple different themes. It was gonna be something other than Conan, but the thing is the books I'm gonna show have led me to a lifetime of reading. So these are all important because they created my lifelong love of Robert E. Howard fiction that I still read year round today. Always, every year, moving forward. I am a consummate Robert E. Howard reader. There's only a few authors I reread over and over again. Robert E. Howard's one of them. Clive Barker's the other one. And those are my 2 all-time favorite writers. So we're going to start out with Conan number 1. And I'm showing this. This is a book, you know, young Gary thought he would never own it. And then when I was an adult and I was able to actually get it for myself, it was one of those surreal moments where I'm holding it and I can't believe I have it in my hands. So that was this getting this book was a big deal for me. And I know a lot of people consider this a really affordable key, but for me this was an accomplishment.
It is an accomplishment.
So I was really happy to get that. But then this is the first. Now the next one I'm going to show you is another favorite cover, and this book is an example of how adaptations are done properly. Because people think, oh, it's adapted. It's that person's not really writing anything. They're just adapting, right? And it gets a dirty word attached to it. And adapting, I think, is sometimes harder than creating your own thing, because you have to capture the original author's voice. You got to make sure that the story points that work in that story work in your adaptation. And you can see with Ablaze Comics that adaptations don't always work, because all their adaptations are ass. They suck. They're terrible. They don't have any respect for the source material. So this is the first, and coincidentally, Cliff, this is the first book I ever sent out to get slabbed. So this is Conan the Barbarian, issue 16, with the Barry Windsor Smith cover and the Frost Giant's Daughter. A brilliant adaptation, which is 100% true to the Robert E. Howard original, adapted brilliantly by Roy Thomas, and art is incredible by Barry Windsor Smith. And this is a story just of Conan's iron will to survive, just never giving up, always reaching in his gut for that extra to make sure that he makes it through the day. No matter what the odds are, he's out for survival. He will survive. He will overcome. He will conquer. Also has a border cover, which I love from that era, with the art breaking the border, which is just, I don't know why. I love it. Now, this has been adapted quite a few times. Ablaze did it, and it was horrible. They turned it into a half porno, which made no sense. There was like 3 pages of the Frost Giant's daughter just taking care of herself, which tells me that they didn't understand what this story was really about. It's about Conan's will of survival. It wasn't about cheap harlotness and smut. Those things have their place in certain stories. That's not what this story is about, and they didn't understand the assignment. Where Roy Thomas,
you're really not enjoying my comic series.
But Roy Thomas understands how to adapt, and adapting is not easy. And a lot of people shit on him because he adapted a lot of stuff. There's a skill to an adaptation, and Roy Thomas proves that it's a skill when you read other adaptations that are just horrible. Now, next up, we have the first appearance, and this is another character important to me, of Red Sonja in comics. So this is number 23 of Conan the Barbarian.
Ooh.
Got Red Sonja in the first appearance. And then we have, to follow that up with, we have her first cover appearance, which is one of my favorite covers in comic book history.
Damn, you doubled down. First Red Sonja cover.
Right, and this is, to date, this is my favorite Red Sonja costume.
Where she's not in a
with the full chainmail on top to protect herself. I think this one works best. I think it's better than the Esteban Murado created bikini.
Yeah, because honestly, the bikini's fun and sexy, but really, girl, you're in combat. I'm like, we're supposed to believe that her boobage is never going to get scabbed? Like, what is happening?
Right, and everybody always credits the wrong person for the Red Sonja bikini, and it was Esteban Murado. So next up, again, this is another fantastic adaptation. Now, what happened with this story is Belit was introduced in issue 58. And this is from a story called Queen of the Black Coast. And in that story, Robert E. Howard mentions that they spent 3 years sailing together on the Tigris.
Ooh.
Conan and Belit. But it's just one tale. And as is often the case with Robert E. Howard fiction, these great characters that you remember that have these big roles in your head were only in one story with Conan, as was Belit. Roy Thomas expanded that 3 years in the comics. So I went from issue 58 to issue 100 to tell this story.
Woo.
And then, of course, you got but if you were a Robert E. Howard reader, you knew how the story was going to end. And when this comic came out, it's one of my all-time favorite comics. It's one of the most brilliantly done adaptations, and it's still heartbreaking. And this shows many sides of Conan. It shows his loyalty. It shows his will of survival. It shows that he can put other people above himself, because Belit he put above himself. It was his one true love. And it shows his compassion. And it shows how much he cares for the people that he surrounds himself with. Because he was going to battle with Belit even in this issue and in the story because of the way she was treating her crew, which he took as his comrades in arms. He had saved their lives. They had saved his life many times. That creates a loyalty with Conan. And she was sacrificing some of them to find out things, to steal this treasure for her and Conan, and he didn't agree with that. And her ultimate downfall was her greed. And then you get this brilliant cover right here. This is Conan the Barbarian, issue 100. I got about 15 copies of it. Whenever I see it and it's affordable, I pick it up. Well, one of the best issues in comic book history to me. And you got this iconic cover here of Belit dead in Conan's arms. You can see the grief on his face. This is signed by Roy Thomas. And this cover didn't start out this way. First, Ernie Chan drew it, and they thought there needed to be a little bit more in Conan's face showing grief. Then you had John Buscema going over Ernie Chan, and for the final combined product of the two. And just a great story, full of tragedy, full of just things in a Conan story about Conan that most writers don't understand. A lot of people tend to write Conan as dumb and just savage and screaming all the time, which is not that character at all, actually. Conan's well thought out. Conan reads a room when he enters it. Whenever he enters any place, he's looking around, he's reading the room. He's very smart. He's become a general of the Cossacks. He's led many armies. He's eventually become king. These are not the actions of a dumb person. But that's what he is. So the last two are going to be magazines. All right. So one of the things I loved reading as a kid is because you weren't supposed to read it as a kid, right? It was the risque Conan title. It had adult themes in it. You actually saw people being killed. You know, in the regular Conan comic, you weren't allowed to show the behead, and you're only allowed to imply it. Or you weren't allowed to show the sword going through somebody. You were only allowed to imply it. In the magazine, all bets are off. You can show everything. And you can show a little bit of the more risque sexual things and nudity, stuff like that. So,
two of my favorite themes.
Right? So Savage Sword of Conan, which for a young boy was like essential reading.
That's great. I had a beautiful 9.8.
Well, this copy, I had a 9.4. And then I bought this copy from a local friend here, and his name is Mike, and I bought it for $20. He sold it to me for $20, and I sent it out, and it came. He goes, "I think this is a 9.8 copy." He was right. Now he didn't have to sell it to me for $20. It was worth much more than that in that grade, and I got it back in a 9.8, which put this book at the time I got it back. I don't know. I haven't looked at it recently. But it put it in the $800 to $1,000 range. So not bad for a $20 investment.
No, not bad at all.
Of course, you had the $50 for grading it. Now, the last one I'm going to show, and this is tied to Joe and Matt Woods, who made a special trip up to Rochester, New York for Matt Woods to deliver this to me. And this is something I never thought I would have. This is the one book from the Marvel Conan that was missing to complete my collection. And it was completely priced out for me. And out of respect for Matt and Joe and them coming out, I'm not going to mention what it's worth. It's worth what it's worth, not because of Conan, because it's the first appearance of Man-Thing. But it was just something that was out of my price range. I never thought I'd have it to complete the collection. So I always thought, well, in my head, I had already accepted. I was always going to have this as a whole. And it just is what it is, right? Well, it isn't what it is because Matt Woods and Joe came up, and then Savage Tales #1, beautiful John Buscema painted cover ended up in my collection.
Wow.
Through the grace of the community through the heart of Matt Woods. And him and Joe came up, and Joe gave me a bunch of books and gave me some art that he did. It was one of my best. See, I'm so choked up. It was one of my best birthdays ever, just to have those two come up, and then to be surprised with this was phenomenal.
That is a hell of a birthday.
Right. Well, and that's a great highlight. But getting to hang out with those two is even a bigger highlight, right? It was fantastic. But these books, me reading them as a kid, I didn't know who Robert E. Howard was. I didn't know who Frank Frazetta was. These books, when I was really young, introduced me to the Conan universe, which led me to Robert E. Howard, which led me to all his stories of all his characters: Kull, Red Sonja, Dark Agnes, Solomon Kane, Bran McMorn, all the boxing stories, all the horror stories of Robert E. Howard. A lot of people don't know that he's got a whole book out that's just horror stories that are fantastic. So all this led me down a lifelong road of reading Robert E. Howard fiction and discovering these great stories. And then, of course, when you discover Robert E. Howard, you discover the old pulp books that made him popular, published with the Frank Frazetta covers, which revived the character of Conan and interest in Robert E. Howard fiction. And so you had him first in the Weird Tales, where he got discovered. You had the Frazetta era, which reintroduced an interest of Robert E. Howard fiction to the general public. And then you had the Roy Thomas Marvel Comics era, which reintroduced Conan, Kull, and other characters and Robert E. Howard fiction into the public consciousness again, which still kept it relevant and revived it once more.
I mean, it's just such an amazing journey that we can take with comic books.
Right. And Titan Comics is doing that again now with Conan and Robert E. Howard.
They're doing a really kick-ass job. And they've even added a little. I mean, I know Conan has had magic before, but they've even used magic to sprinkle in a little bit of time travel,
which has been done before. But
it's not always tasteful.
No, but it was before with Marvel. Like, this isn't the first time Kull and Conan have met. They did in Marvel, and it was a great 5-issue arc that was in Marvel Feature 2, the Red Sonja title. That's 7 issues. It was in issues, I think 5, 6, and 7, and it was in Conan the Barbarian as well. It crossed over. But what's great about this era of Conan now is that Jim Zub understands the character. He understands why Conan's important, and Kull's in the story with him now. And people always confuse Kull and Conan and say they're the same character. They're not the same character in any way, except maybe a little bit in appearance. Other than that, they're both completely different characters. Are they both warriors? Yes. Are they both savages? Yes. Do they both become kings? Yes. But lots of characters become kings. Lots of characters become queens. Lots of characters have savagery in them, but it doesn't make them the same. The only reason they're compared alike, I think, is because of Robert E. Howard. But Conan is a much more plotting character than King Kull. He's much more well thought out. He's less reactionary than Kull is. Kull needs Brule the Spear Slayer to balance him. Conan doesn't need someone to balance him. Without Brule the Spear Slayer, Kull is a loose cannon. Kull is impetuous. He doesn't think things through. He's 100% reactionary, and that's his greatest weakness. Kull is a struck match. Like, there's nothing, and then it's flames.
He's 0 to 160 on the highway.
Yes. Where Conan's constantly assessing and reading the situation. Now, he will get his blood rage on at some point, but he's got to be pushed there. Where Kull's going to stub his toe and kill everyone in the room.
I also remember him having some badass moments, so it's okay.
Yes. But anyway, those books are important to me because they introduced me to a lifetime of reading that is still happening for me now.
That's wonderful. Excellent. I'm so glad you were able to share. And I'm really happy. I didn't push you for Conan, but I'm super happy that it was Conan.
Well, I wasn't going to do Conan because it's the obvious choice. But no, then I was like, I have to, because people have to know why it's important. Like why this character resonates. Because in the community, I get a lot of shit from people because I like Conan, which is weird, right? Read what you love. Unless it's Conan, then we're going to pick on you about it. And
dude, do you know how much of my life I've been picked on because like Superman's boring, and I'm like, get out of my face. I was like, you watch three madmen Kryptonians battle Thor. Let's see how the God of Thunder does against all that heat vision.
Well, it's weird because one of Superman's weaknesses is magic, and there's a little bit of magic in what Thor does, which makes him a good counterweight to Superman.
He is, but let us not forget JLA versus Avengers, okay? The minute he didn't have that hammer in his hand, Superman walloped him, and then the entire Avengers team had to wallop Superman. I just want people to remember.
Well, there's always that one argument, though, and Stan Lee said it best, right? When somebody asked him, who would win in a fight against this?
Whoever
the writer chooses.
Yeah, whatever the writer chooses, yeah.
In
my eyes, Superman is super righteous. He'd grab that hammer and, be like, knowing that he's trying to do the right thing. And Thor's like, oh no, he can grab the hammer. And then, like, as usual, be like, wait, we shouldn't fight. If the hammer thinks you're cool, we're cool.
Right?
But yeah, but like, let's be honest, okay? Thor has fought galactic menaces before, and like that, he and the hammer can only do so much by against heavily superpowered people. Heck, Dark Carol, in that alternate future, she murdered Thor. So it's out there.
Right, and I think one of the things too, especially with classic Thor, like arrogance can be a weakness.
Yes. Although I don't know how arrogant Thor is going to be when it's like, ooh, she already murdered half my friends. Like, I don't know. At that point, I'm like, ooh, let me be strategic and try to take down Carol. Let's put some thought in this.
Yeah, Carol's another character I get a lot of hate for liking.
Well, my biggest problem is I don't feel like Carol has ever shined outside of her book. And the one time they've shined a light on her outside of her book, it was horrible, which was Civil War 2.
I've been a Carol Danvers reader forever, and but you know me. I don't. If people don't like what I'm reading, it's okay. Just don't watch me. I'm gonna always like what I like, and I'm not gonna apologize for what I like.
Good morning, like I'm not even trying to put you on the spot for liking it. I love Carol. I'm just saying, but
I'm saying like not you, other people in the community. Like when I posted, I like this. Oh, why would you like that? I thought you were like. You can think what you like. This is what I like. You don't have to like what I like.
Unbelievable with some people. By the way, you know what's a really fun Marvel team-up issue that I'm still looking for? Spider-Man and Red Sonja. And what I love about it is that it's Mary Jane hadn't been seen in Spider-Man comics for like 3 years, and all of a sudden she's in Marvel team-up, and she becomes possessed by Red Sonja.
Yeah.
I've only read it digitally, but rip out over that issue.
That's another issue I pick up whenever I find it. I love it. I got the reprint. It's awesome. And then they revisited that theme with a Red Sonja
by Gail Simone, Red Sonja Spider-Man.
Yeah, and with art by Michael Turner. Mm-hmm. But nothing beats that Marvel team up for me. I love it. It's such a great Marvel team up.
It is, and I love it. And I love that MJ is the one who gets possessed by Red Sonja. I'm like, it's perfect. It was meant to be.
Right? One redhead to another.
Fantastic.
And the same weakness for Peter Parker, right?
I know, right? He's like, I do love a redhead. But I do love when Gail Simone tells her story that she picks up from the events of that Marvel team-up.
Now, Gail Simone wrote one of the worst Red Sonja titles in my opinion, because her Red Sonja did not feel like Red Sonja to me.
Did she not make up for it with the Spider-Man Red Sonja?
Yes, but now, and that's not me bashing her. I just didn't like her take on Red Sonja. I loved her Domino series; was incredible.
I enjoyed that as well.
Her Wonder Woman Conan miniseries was fantastic.
That was very good, and I was not expecting it.
And what was the Hot Shots? The follow up to the Domino series that she wrote was also fantastic.
I actually don't remember Hot Shots. Funny.
Wow, Hot Shots was great.
I'm looking it up right now.
And that was only 10 issues as well.
I may have to hunt this down for myself.
You won't be sorry.
But not this year. This year I'm sticking to my list, and that's I've gone off my rails enough this year. This year I'm sticking to my guns. I'm going to work on finishing my list, and I'm going to work on Terrificon, which is weeks away, and then I'm focused on Heroes Con. And you join me if you will or won't. If you don't, I'll just be terribly disappointed. I mean, you're only a few hours away from me. Well, otherwise, it's gonna happen.
Oh, what was the movie? Get used to disappointment.
I'm already used to disappointment. It just happens.
But no, that was so yeah, thank you for letting me talk about that. Like, because Robert E. Howard has just been a lifelong read for me, and I always love putting his fiction out there.
Good. I listen. I honestly, I mean, I casually enjoy Conan stories, you know. And of course, so many.
I've introduced people to the Robert E. Howard one, and they've read them, and they go, "Oh, I didn't realize that the writing was that good." I'm like, "Yes, because nobody gives it a chance." Most people's idea of Conan is the '82 movie, which is an amalgamation of Conan, Kull, other Robert E. Howard characters, and other Robert E. Howard storylines. It's not a true Conan film, and I'm not bashing it. I love it, just like I love the other stuff, but it's not a true Conan movie.
You know, I can't comment on that, but I will tell you that all my friends who love Conan so much, they always go back to that movie. Even when they've read tons of Conan, they still lean on that movie, and they still talk about, oh, King Conan. And I'm like, how many feet in the grave does Arnold Schwarzenegger have before you guys stop talking about King Conan? Like, they're like, let's roll his old ass out and do King Conan, you know?
Well, and I think the reason it's still so well revered is it's one of the first movies that took that kind of subject matter seriously. Because Sword and Sandal movies were mostly treated like a joke, just like superhero movies were. And they were made cheesy, they were made low budget, and they were made with people that didn't respect the material.
Maybe.
Maybe. What about Ator the Eagle and stuff like that, which is just. Whew.
I think it's very hard. I think there's people who really enjoy storytelling, even if it's making film. Then there's studio pressures, which have just have always been an abomination, right?
Right.
The studio pressures.
See, I still like the movie.
Look at that.
So we got a CBCS and a CGC. So
it's the third best thing Arnold Schwarzenegger ever did.
The third. What are your first two? You got to have Terminator.
His two fine ass sons. And look.
Oh, he doesn't know that he's going to have you as a son-in-law one day, huh?
Oh, shit. If I could, it'll be great. And then my brother-in-law will be freaking Star-Lord. That'd be awesome.
Right.
Oh, my goodness. All right. With that, it is 11:15. Unfortunately, I have to get going and have a huge day. But, dude, I have really enjoyed spending last night and this morning with you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, man. It's fun as always.
Great. I had a wonderful time. All right, everybody, have a great morning. Go over to Philtastic this morning. As usual, he's got a fantastic guest this Saturday morning. Love you all. Thank you for popping by. And remember, be good to one another because we don't have a lot of time on this planet. And as usual, retreat!